God.
One of these mornings about 12 o'clock.
Feed every child of God.
This whole world's gonna really rock.
Feed every child of God. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Honey in the rock, honey in the rock, honey in the rock for all God's children. Feed every child of God.
If we're gonna be fair, we gotta open the door.
Feed every child of God.
We gotta house the homeless and feed the poor.
Feed every child of God.
The chains hold us down, we gotta break the law.
Feed every child of God.
And with cheese, sweet honey in the rock.
Feed every child of God. There's honey in the rock for all God's children. Honey in the rock, honey in the rock, honey in the rock for all God's children. Feed every child of God. Oh, there's honey in the rock for all God's children. Honey in the rock, honey in the rock, honey in the rock for all God's children. Feed every child of God. Oh, feed every child of God. Oh, feed every child of God.
Morning, church. Now, we are recording this on the Wednesday before the Sunday where you are sitting, listening, and watching. We are recording this early because we wanted to be sure and say what we needed to say on the commemorative date of May 31, noting that 99 years ago, Tulsa had the worst race massacre in the United States. So we are recording this with that in mind, but life doesn't just accompany plans. So we have, in fact, racial terror again surfacing its ugly head. Yes, we know about Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. But now there comes George Floyd in Minnesota, who is saying to the officer who has his knee in Mr. Floyd's neck, "I can't breathe." Now, church, we know "I can't breathe" came from an earlier episode where once again police said we need to institute discipline and listen to us because we fear you big, bad super predators with black skin. So again, we have this kind of racial terror 99 years later. Church, it's time. I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. You know what you need to do. Because racial terror is allowed to bloom and burst upon the scene because it is accepted. Racial terror is accepted because you feel, as a predominantly white institution, that order must be maintained at any cost. And who should do that but the lawfully appointed law enforcement gendarmes to do the bidding of racial terror? Now, maybe you didn't say you wanted racial terror, but you did say you want order. And because of a militaristic composition of our police forces, they follow orders. And orders are, by any means necessary, calm these wild predators down. So we have George Floyd on the ground in Minnesota with this officer's knee in his neck, cutting off his air supply. And we also have the other three officers standing around doing crowd control, when the people who are the crowd are saying, stop it. Can't you see he's down? He can't breathe. He's a big bad guy, huh? He can't mobilize to do any kind of retort. And the man never moved. Church, that is endemic and emblematic of what is wrong when we are not stopping to see ourselves as human beings. So why is Reverend Gerald up here telling you what you already know? Because I haven't given up on you, church. I believe that you said love beyond belief, which means to me that I can't stop loving if you're not going to stop loving. But it's not enough for us to love one another. We have to make the institutions respond to the love we have. Who are the institutions? That's the government. That's the corporate structures. Institutions are those places that have power and they have money and they're organized. And those places need to hear from us. They need to say we are outraged that racial terror continues to be on the shores of these United States. We need to let everybody know that we will not tolerate that. Why do we need to know that? Because it is really, truly life versus death. Black people and people of color in general deserve to live lives full of the vitality that the Spirit has given us. The Spirit that says to us, be all you can be, love one another, treat each other with the kind of compassion that needs to be all over everywhere. Now that's what I'm believing, church, because I know this. I can't have hope without love. And love is what fuels me. It's what makes me want to stand in this pulpit today and say to you, racial terror will no longer be tolerated. That Tulsa, Oklahoma learned its lesson. And I want you to be able to tell the story too. That you have the idea that no way will we let injustice reign, because we know that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Church, I'm telling you this. You can read, you can learn the facts, you can reorient yourself, your perspective. You can dig deep and find that there is racial trauma in you that will make you do things that you thought you wouldn't do against people of color. We know that you know. When you read and understand, that's good. But now, church, you need to take another step. You need to organize yourselves around this issue. You need to be proximate with the people who are going through it. What does that mean, proximate? Well, that means you need to be in relationship with people of color, church. I'm talking to my light-skinned brothers and sisters. I'm talking to you, white people. You need to be in relationship. You cannot anymore just say, I used to have a friend who. You need to develop those relationships right now. Because when you do, you will be able to understand that human beings need allies, that we are a family called together to build the community that we would want to have. But it won't happen, church, until you make the decision to make the move. Church, let me just share a little brief story of what I'm talking about. This African-American man in New York City Central Park is on the board of directors for the New York City Audubon Society. He is a well-read author who is in the park enjoying Central Park. And then here comes a white woman with a dog unleashed. He says to the white woman, would you please leash your dog? She takes offense at that and says, I'm going to call the police and tell them that you're threatening me. And because you're an African-American man, I'm going to tell them that. He pulls out his phone camera, church, and he says, go right ahead. And she does. She tells them that this African-American man is threatening her and her dog. And she tells that lie while he's just filming. And of course, when they show up, everything is said, and that's it, except Because of the bad publicity, she is fired from her job. And so you say, well, good, she got fired. Except the people who hired her, Franklin and Templeton Investment Fund, those are the same people who held this huge debt over Puerto Rico, and they would not refinance the debt. They would not forgive the debt. They allowed Puerto Rico to suffer from hurricanes. That's how endemic and how embedded this system is. So because of the bad publicity, they fired the woman. They said, oh, get away. But the problem is she said what she said because of the structure she worked and lived in that said, they'll believe me over any other person of color. Church, you see how deep this thing is. It's more than just having a relationship. It's doing something with the relationship. So I'm going to sit down now because unfortunately I have a time limit. But I'm not limited in my time with you. So when you see me again, with or without a mask, let me know that you are on the path with me, that we are walking toward a better place where we can be in relationship, fighting for justice and building community. Church, I give you my heart. Receive it and know it's real. Amen.